Hello everyone, it's another edition of Diaspora Network where we beam the spotlight on Nigerians who are doing the nation proud on the world stage. On the show today, we look at flight operations, predominantly Nigerian crews in the diaspora, and the world-class services they provide. Our special report examines in-flight hospitality and aviation services and those who are working hard to replicate best practices back home. And then come with us aboard this Emirates flight to experience Captain Robert Osuho and First Officer Chijioke Akpu, the first all-Nigerian cockpit to fly the biggest passenger plane, the Airbus 380. That's a lot to show you in the next 30 minutes. But first, let's see what's in the news this week.
The Malaysian High Court has declared that the death of a Nigerian student at a detention centre in 2019 was the result of a series of wrongful actions which were committed by the Immigration Department. Thomas Orions Ewansia, who was a doctorate student studying under a Malaysian visa, was arrested on account of officers' claims that he was attempting to flee during a police raid, although it was revealed he was only trying to retrieve his ID. Despite a passerby helping produce his valid visa and student ID, this altercation led to a 14-day detention at the Bukit Jalil depot for further investigations. The Malaysian Human Rights Commission found that while he was there, Thomas died of a fit seizure, which the coroner's court ruled was a result of natural causes, although it has been disputed that this would suggest he would have had a history of fit seizures that required medical attention. During a probe, the Commission found that the Immigration Department had delayed in providing necessary medication for Thomas, who had suffered from high blood pressure. 5 days after he was detained, Thomas, who was sleeping on the floor, went into cardiac arrest and stopped breathing. The officers who were called to perform CPR, despite serving in the medical unit, had no training in either first aid or CPR, and he was declared dead the following morning. The Judicial Commissioner, who is handling the case, is yet to make a final ruling. The new installment of Marvel's Captain America is set to cast Nigerian-American filmmaker Julius Onah as its director. This will be the fourth Captain American film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise, which has accumulated over $25 billion since its creation in 2008. Julius received his bachelor's degree in theatre and later received his master's in fine arts from the Tisch School of Arts in New York. The filmmaker had previously directed on a series of short documentaries and films, including critically acclaimed Luce, starring Naomi Watts and Octavia Spencer, which premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 2019. He was also endorsed by the highly accredited filmmaker J.J. Abrams to direct Netflix's 2018 horror sci-fi, The Cloverfield Paradox. Captain America 4 is currently in pre-production and is set to be released in cinemas in 2023. The former basketball player turned coach Ime Udoka has been favoured to win the 2023 NBA Coach of the Year award. The coach famously steered the Boston Celtics to the 2022 NBA Finals during his first season as head coach, the first time since they landed that spot in 2010. During this time, Udoka was able to improve the team's defense, passing, and scoring capabilities, as well as increase their winning percentage for the season. In his playing career, Ime competed under several teams across the country, and he represented the Nigerian national team in the FIBA's African and World Championships, winning bronze medals in 2005 and 2011, respectively. The NBA Coach of the Year awards will be announced next year. Juliana Olayinka with the Diaspora Network News Wrap in London.
It's our practice to catch up with the activities of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission as it continues to engage citizens for development. Let's take a look.
We're still bringing you the sights and sounds of the just concluded Diaspora Day celebrations that took place in Abuja. One of the major events that has created a lot of traction is the panel session that featured panelists drawn from a broad range of diaspora icons and chaired by the chairman of the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, Mrs. Abike Dabiri-Arewa. Participants took turns to speak on their journey, experiences, achievements, and recommendations for the younger generations of Nigerians in diaspora. At the end of the session, the NIDCOM boss harps on the need for continuous conversations centered around human capital development.
There's so much good news about Nigeria and Nigerians in the diaspora. Who will talk about it but us? If it's a bad story now, it trends. The good ones do not trend. We've given you lists and names of a lot of success stories, so nobody will celebrate us but ourselves. But the key thing is, okay, so we are the best in the world, we are the most educated immigrants. How is it translating back to our home country? How do we galvanize? How do we have this synergy with them? That is what we're working on. That is the long-term goal. But in the meantime, you can see the passion, the interest that Nigerians abroad are having. And we can't do without them. That's just the truth. And I know you would ask about diaspora voting. Yes, we're sending so much money. There has to come a time when the diaspora will vote. It's not a matter of if, it's a question of when is it going to happen. So it's going to happen, but we have to keep at it and ensure that we sustain the momentum and the awareness.
Other diasporans in attendance share their contributions.
I think when people go away from Nigeria and come back, they get experiences from other places and ideas on how the government can improve or even just alter things. Not everything is a big change, just small changes that help the people on the ground. So I think with this information we have and this knowledge we have and the finances we have, we should also be given a voice.
And we are here to give back to Nigeria. First of all, we are planning for cultural exhibition so we can exhibit and showcase our culture and, ties, food and all that, so they will know that Nigeria is rich as they are.
On another note, former President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has backed calls for the country to adopt diaspora voting. He made the remark when he received the NIDCOM boss and some staff of the commission on a courtesy visit in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital.
We shouldn't allow a few Nigerians to give all Nigerians a bad name. If there's need for constitutional arrangement, simple thing. Let's amend the constitution that Nigerians in diaspora will vote through the Nigerian embassy. That's all.
And I'm also glad to let you know, sir, that some African countries are already visiting us to see how we're harnessing our own diaspora. We've had Tanzania, Namibia, Ethiopia, and a few others. And the Organization of African Caribbean Pacific, we're actually in Abuja to also see how they can start working with the diaspora.
Are you a Nigerian in diaspora? Do you have a need to contact Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NIDCOM? Kindly dial any of the numbers on your screen. You can also catch up with all the Commission's activities, including news, articles, and office events on the website nidcom.gov.ng.
So the data indicates that in-flight service quality and perceived safety positively influence passenger satisfaction and loyalty. Now, we found that many international carriers with Nigerian staff have caught that bug and are implementing strategies to improve services.
According to the United Nations World Tourism Organization, tourism has experienced continued growth and diversification to become one of the fastest growing economic sectors in the world. Also, the World Travel and Tourism Council estimates that 1 of every 10 jobs on the planet are in the hospitality and tourism industry, which translates to lots of career opportunities in the industry. In contemporary economies, hospitality is a critical success factor for service providers, and the aviation industry falls in this category. The airport is often the first port of call for both local and international air travelers, and for this reason, its hospitality services are often a priority for many governments. For every flight, the burden of care for customers is on ticket desk officers, baggage handlers, and other ground staff. But the real hospitality burden rests squarely on the shoulders of the cabin crew, which includes all staff on board, led by the captain, and then chefs, stewards, and flight attendants. Contrary to popular belief, flight attendants do not only serve meals and drinks, they are brand ambassadors for airlines trained in firefighting, first aid, CPR, and emergency evacuation of an aircraft. In addition to saving lives during emergencies, the world of an air hostess, flight steward, or purser is mostly a glamorous one. A mix of beauty, brains, etiquette, a pleasing personality with good communication skills is required, as hospitality in the industry cuts across courtesy, appreciation, socializing, and comfort. For air passengers, one of the things that set apart an airline or individual in the sector is the ability to offer distinctive and hospitable in-flight services, and quite a number of Nigerians of different generations in the diaspora are taking center stage in the industry globally. 25-year-old Nigerian-American Miracle Izuchukwu joined the industry as a flight attendant at American Airlines and recently made history by becoming the youngest female commercial pilot in the United States. Edo-born Madeline Odigie is another Nigerian cabin crew doing the country proud on a global scale. She moved to the United States at the age of 15, and over a decade later, she moved to Dubai, where she works as a cabin crew member for Emirates Airline. For her, meeting new, interesting people and experiencing different cultures is some of the best part of her job.
Welcome on board.
A warm welcome, care and comfort are what travelers look forward to when they get on a flight. A vast majority of Nigerians are of the opinion that although Nigerians do a good job back home, it still cannot be compared to flight hospitality in the diaspora, as Nigerians offer better service outside the shores of the country than they do back home. Apart from these lapses, the sector is presently grappling with several challenges attributed to high cost of operations, maintenance, taxes, and other regulatory charges.
You pay NAMA in your own country for navigational charges. You pay about 37 other charges. At the end of the day, what comes to these poor airlines, just about maybe 12,000 or 13,000 out of 50.
The aviation sector is capital intensive, and efficient service delivery helps towards optimum profitability.
Now that's some food for thought. We're not done yet as we cross over to the United Arab Emirates to bring you the amazing story of the first all-Nigerian cockpit crew to fly the biggest passenger plane, the Airbus 380 at Emirates. The buzz around the pair started with this viral LinkedIn post. Apparently, two Nigerian pilots had made history, becoming the first all-Nigerian cockpit crew to fly the biggest passenger plane, Airbus 380, at Emirates. And so, our hunt for the pair took us all the way to the United Arab Emirates, where we find Captain Robert Osuho and First Officer Chijioke Apu. While they are not the first all-Nigerian cockpit crew at Emirates, their story is unique, as Captain Robert is the first Nigerian pilot to be employed by the carrier. He was born in the United Kingdom to a Nigerian father, late Professor Paul Osuho, a medico-legal consultant and Obaseki of Umunede Kingdom, and an English mother, Anne, who worked as a dentist at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. At age 4, he moved to Zaria, Kaduna State in northwestern Nigeria, where the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology is situated. For his primary education, he attended Ambrose Ali University Staff School, Benin City in Edo State, southern Nigeria, and then off to King's College, Lagos for his secondary education. University education started in Benin, where he chose electrical engineering, before his family relocated to the UK in 1986. His partner, First Officer Chijioke Apu, was born and raised by trader parents in Douala, Cameroon, but he would always visit his hometown in Okuzu, Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, every Christmas. His childhood ambition was to build planes, but circumstances led him towards flying. In 2005, he traveled to Zaria in Kaduna State to begin flight training in the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, an opportunity he almost missed owing to his fear of the machines for medical fitness examination. He was a pilot with Rwanda Air Limited between 2016 and 2018, and today he remains passionate about flight instruction and training. Coming up on Diaspora Network, our chat with Captain Osuho and First Officer Akbu. They share quite an interesting tale. Welcome back to the program. Now, we sat down with two members of the history-making cockpit crew. We tracked them down on a hot day in Dubai, and as they settle in, they start by telling us how they struck a natural friendship when they first met.
He's from Umunede, which is at most 40 minutes from Okuzu, from where I'm from. So there was also a sense of pride in the fact that we are from the same region, find ourselves in a different part of the world. You know, it just also goes to tell you that the world is a global village. He's taking a different path, and he's in Dubai. I've taken a different path. I'm in Dubai.
We're both here.
And then we meet in a small cockpit.
Big cockpit.
Well, biggest cockpit in the world.
That's true.
Because we had so much to talk about.
I started flying in 88, training, 89. I've always made my choices of where to go. I didn't leave where I was because I had to. I left because I wanted to. And, you know, I came to Emirates because I wanted to be here. I wanted to be with Emirates, building what we have built.
We also wanted to know how they reacted to all the buzz when the news of their now infamous flight became public.
What happened was we have a class group of some of us that finished from Zaria, so my batch that finished from Aviation College Zaria. So WhatsApp group. So I sent this picture to the group saying, hey guys, this is, because we also have another guy who is here, who is from Aviation College Zaria with the same batch, same course, same everything. He's a Boeing 777 pilot. So first time we actually met here in EGHQ, reporting for 2 separate flights at the same time. We took a picture together, and then I sent it to the group. So in following the same step, having been paired with him, at the end of the flight, I took a picture. We're just having a discussion like, I wonder if there's been a 380 crew Nigerian, but the probability is very, very slim to none, because at the time we were only two Nigerian first officers in the 380, and he was the only Nigerian captain. So if he hasn't flown with the other guy, then it has to be me. Yeah. You know, so we eventually realized that we are the first 380 crew. So I took the picture and I sent it to my friends on WhatsApp. And before I know it, social media, you know, it was on Facebook. There was a Nigerian blogger on Facebook that sent me a message, and then it was
LinkedIn.
And then all of a sudden it's all over the place. I had to quickly send him a message saying, I'm sorry you've been in hiding, but I think this is going everywhere now. Because I, to be honest, to a certain extent, I panic a little bit, because we as pilots in Emirates are not very used to being in the limelight and on social media. So I was apprehensive because I didn't know how to stop it.
That's exactly how it happened. I was quite surprised. It's like I keep mentioning, 34 years in aviation. I've been flying under the radar. I've flown to Lagos a lot with the 340 because I was a captain on the 340. So before I changed to the 380, I was in Lagos almost every month. Nobody even knew that I was flying in there. So that was the way it was, you know, it was okay. But social media, it's a wonderful thing, right? And it's a bit of a dragon as well, because suddenly it's like everyone knows where you are, what you're doing. And it's not a bad thing, it's not a good thing, but it surprised me how it just took off. I mean, from a personal point of view, I think it's a good thing. We're highlighting Emirates, we're going to highlight Dubai, and if it inspires a single person in Nigeria to live their dream and to do it the right way, as both of us have tried to do, then I'm, I guess, happy to have the exposure.
For First Officer Chijioke, his journey to flying some of the best aircraft in the world began with working for indigenous carriers back in Nigeria.
I did Boeings. When I joined ARIC, I started on the 737NG. It's a Boeing aircraft. Then I moved on to the 330 in ARIC. Again, that's an Airbus. And now I'm flying the 380. I've also flown one aircraft with Airpeace called Embraer 145. This is hands down the best aircraft I have flown.
And speaking about excellent hospitality being at the bedrock of customer satisfaction, Captain Osuho is lyrical about his experience of making customers happy on the Airbus 380.
The 380 is just wonderful. Now, bearing in mind, I've flown a lot of Airbus aircraft. So I've flown 320, 321, which are the smaller ones, 330, which is still termed a wide body, but it's a two-engine. I've flown both variants of the 340 and now the 380. And I have to say, we're doing such a good job with it here. Obviously, you know that the pandemic happened. We can't gloss over that. People were saying the 380 is dead. I don't think so. We're back with a bang. All our flights are full. I don't know if you've ever been on an Emirates 380. You get in the cabin. We've got the new cabin product, which is premium economy. It's just wonderful. And even without that, the passengers love the aircraft.
Passengers love it.
You get in there, it's so quiet. We have the upstairs bar, we have first class, we have business class, economy.
And the shower.
And the shower. Yeah, we've got a shower spot in the aircraft. And for me, just, you know, being a little bit flippant, it's the first aircraft that I can actually stand up in the cockpit. All the rest of them I have to bend in to get into. But it flies like a small aircraft once you're airborne. It's so comfortable, it's so quiet. We love it as pilots, and I think our customers at Emirates love it for what service we provide on board.
The elephant in the room bordered on the work-life balance, as pilots often spend a big chunk of their lives thousands of kilometers away from family and loved ones.
With this job, you have to have a very strong partner at home. My kids are used to it because they only know me being a pilot. But my wife had to give up her career as an IT project manager to basically support the family because we are away quite a lot. So I have to give thanks to her for doing that, and thanks to everyone that supported me in my journey.
Captain Osuho talked about inspiring the next generation of pilots to be confident enough to take their place at the top of the industry.
It would be nice because, like I said, I did recruitment for Emirates for almost 6 years, and we hardly got any applicants from Nigeria specifically. And apart from South Africa, there was, you know, a very big hole in the recruitment pool. So I'm hoping that, you know, people can see what we do and understand that, yes, Emirates is a great airline. We're very tough in our selection process, but it is possible to be here as a Nigerian, as an African. And we do have a lot of African pilots now. We do have Nigerians, more and more, and we're hoping that if they hear this story, they can say, yeah, this is something we want to do. I mean, it's a double-edged sword for the country, though, because if we're encouraging people to come here, we are taking them out of the Nigerian aviation system, which, I don't know, you know, is it good or bad?
The story I want to say is a very good friend of mine who was also a pilot. He's passed away now, one of my best friends. He died very young in a car accident. But just about the mindset, when we were in ARIC as young first officers, I said to him, I'm going to join Emirates and I'm going to fly everywhere in the world with Emirates. He said to me, he's quite older, and he said to me, you have to realize that not all dreams come true. My dream came true. I did it. So there's a lot of Nigerians out there, Nigerian pilots in Nigeria, I've flown in Nigeria, and they would tell you things like, oh, it's biased, you can't get into Emirates, you can't come into these places, you know, with your Nigerian passport or as a Nigerian. It's not true. I'm an evidence that it's not. I only have one passport. I went to Zaria.
Yeah.
All my training was in Nigeria, in Africa, and I'm here today.
Despite all they have achieved flying across the continents of the world, they see themselves returning to Nigeria to serve and inspire others to dream big.
As much as I'm in Emirates now, and I love it, I want to think that at some point I'll go back to Nigeria and impact the younger generation by teaching them what I have learned. It's no surprise that there's a better way of doing things out here that airlines like Emirates have been doing, as opposed to us, where Nigerian Airways is no more. Nigerian Airways was older than Emirates, you know. So I want to learn this stuff and bring it back home and help the system be better. But the system has to accept it.
Correct.
Because without acceptance, there's really nothing anyone can do.
Obviously, I've been representing Nigeria for 34 years on the North Sea, in the UK, in Dubai. I remember, I'm older than a lot of you. I remember the heyday of Nigerian Airways. My father had friends that flew for Nigerian Airways. We had such a big airline, flying internationally, flying within Nigeria. Chijioke, you're probably too young to even remember that. But you know, I used to fly from Zaria to Lagos, Benin to Lagos, because I was in school in Lagos. What happened? Why have we got to the point where it's a struggle? What I would like for Nigerian aviation, and you know, people might say, oh yeah, he's been out there and he's not contributing, is for us to start doing it the proper way. Yeah, we need to change, well, not change, because Chijioke doesn't need to change his mindset. So there are people in the system. They just need to be given a chance to make it work properly.
And there you have it. Customer service and satisfaction play an essential role in the air passenger transport industry as it relates to business growth in airlines. If Nigerians are on the forefront of this in the diaspora, then the same skill and talents can apply to improve flight operations back home. And that's it on the program. You can catch all editions of Diaspora Network on our website, channelstv.com. I'm Ijoma Onyato. See you next time.